I mean, how shall I call this? This guidance session, if you like. My objective is just, I mean, to give you some guidelines about how to be well prepared for the exam, because that's important for you guys. But I would like to make some, I mean, important caveats, remarks. The first one is that I'm not giving you the exam, of course, and I'm not guiding you to the questions that you will be asked in the exam, of course. Okay. My objective is simply to guide you to how to deal with the exam itself and not to be confused during the exam time. Having an idea about how the exam is delivered and how you are supposed to answer the questions is very important for you, because some students are sometimes put under pressure, and they are stressed out, and they feel like they cannot proceed well in answering the questions, not because they didn't prepare well, but because they were not ready for the form of the exam. So I am here to help you with respect to the form of the exam, just to be ready and to know, I mean, how to deal with the questions if you are asked, if you are given any questions in the exam. So that's the first point. The second point is that you should know that the only way to be prepared for the exam is to revise well. Let me be honest with you. If you did not revise well, if you didn't do your reading assignment, if you were not attending classes, if you didn't go through the slide lectures, if you were not following the argument from beginning to end, it will be very hard for you to take the exam. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the key is to be prepared for the exam, not just by knowing how the exam is delivered, but by revising for it, studying, doing the exercises, and attending the lectures. So this is something very important to know. So please don't deceive yourself into thinking that just by knowing the form of the exam you will be able to make it. That's not true. So let me just summarize these 2 points. The first one is that my objective today is to prepare you for the exam by giving you an idea about the form of the exam, which does not replace preparing for the exam. The second point is that the best way of preparing for the exam is to prepare for the exam by revising, by doing exercises, etc. So please let me know if you have any questions about the two introductory points that I have just made.
Yes, Professor, understood.
Okay, great. So let me just show you a mock exam, a model of a mock exam. I think I will have to share my screen, which I will do. Now my screen is shared. Now I can show you. So this is it. Can you see it?
Yes, Professor.
Is it animated?
Yes.
Okay, great. So please, the first thing you should not forget, because many students do this, and the consequences are not good, is that some of you guys forget to write their names, family name, personal name, and exam number. Look at the expression exam number. This is not about your apogee number. This is your order number on the list. You are given a list to sign in, and in that list you have your exam number. So please don't forget to insert it here. Make sure to first write your name, because when you forget your name, even if you do well in the exam and I don't find your name, I will have to just mark it absent, and then you come to complain. So please make sure to write your name before you start. and your exam number before you start. Typically, I mean, you will be given 4 questions. As you can see, this black bar in here has the number of the questions. This is question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, and then question number 4. Typically, you are given a small text to start from. The text that you are given at the beginning is the one that contains the sentences that you will be working on. And typically, the text is given from a book or from an article, or just, I mean, a made up text, a text that I write myself. So,
Sorry, sir, can you please zoom in? We can't see very well.
what's your request again?
Can you please zoom in? We can't see very well.
Okay, so let me see.
Thank you.
Is it better now?
Yes, way better.
Okay. So typically, I mean, you are given a text, and that's the starting point, and all the questions revolve around the sentences in that text. Here you have an instruction about the text. The following is a slightly modified version of a passage from Walter Ross and his friends. This is just a made-up title. It's not a real one. Please read it carefully and then answer the 4 questions below. So it's very important to start by reading the text and understand it. You don't have to understand everything in it, but having a clear idea about what it is about is the key. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, that some expressions are underlined. So this one, for example, is underlined. One sentence is placed between square brackets, this one. And one sentence is shaded. There's a shadow on it, okay? And I put the parenthesis, just, I mean, to highlight the shading. I'm doing this because I'm referring to, in the questions, I refer to the sentences by that sentence which is underlined, that sentence which is bracketed, and that sentence which is shaded. For example, I don't mean that these are the examples you will be given in the exam, of course not, but I'm just giving you examples. For example, here, the question is, the underlined group of words is a constituent. So notice that, I mean, I'm already saying that it's a constituent here in this question. I'm not asking you to show that it's a constituent. It is a constituent. I'm not asking you if it is a constituent or not. It is a constituent. That's a given. And then you are instructed to use 2 constituency diagnostics to show that this fragment of words is indeed a constituent. So it is a constituent, and you are supposed to give, I mean, 2 reasons to use 2 diagnostics, 2 tests to show that it's actually a constituent. Typically, you are given a framework for answering. You answer here. I use the diagnostic of. You mentioned the name of the diagnostic that you would like to use. What are the 6 diagnostics that we studied? Substitution,
Displacement.
Question formation, ellipsis, lifting, and coordination.
Very good.
So the
What you need to do is to go back to the sentence which is underlined, because here you are requested to consider the sentence which is underlined, which is this one. Drove him every onward.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I apologize for such interruption. I just want to know if to make sure if the coordinator is recording this session.
Mr. Coordinator, are you recording the session?
Yes, sir, I am.
That's good. I think it's that would prove to be useful for you, even if you attend it. I mean, because you can use it later on.
Yes, sir,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, here you, I mean, what you are asked to do is to fill in the type of diagnostics that you're gonna use. Okay, that's what we do in class. Okay, and look at the underlined part. You ask yourself the question: what type of phrase is this? This is a VP. So what type of diagnostic can I use? You can use substitution by do so. You can use pseudo-Clifton. Remember, we can use pseudo-Clifton. And you can also use, I mean, ellipsis. If we, for example, I mean, indomitable spirit that did retain in the auxiliary while deleting the VP. So I advise you to please go back to those lecture about, I mean, constituency and about diagnostics. I mean, to know how you can use them to prove that a certain fragment of words is indeed a constituent. So that's typically how the first one. And here, look here, you mentioned the diagnostic, and here you give your justification. I use the diagnostic to show that the fragment is indeed a constituent, and you show how. For example, if you are using substitution, you give an example with substitution, etc. Uh, Remember, the underlined group of words is the constituent. Use two constituency diagnostics. You are asked to use two constituency diagnostics. Here is the first one, and here is the second one. I use the diagnostic of, and you mentioned the second one, and then you give your justification. I advise you, ladies and gentlemen, to first answer on a draft or use a pencil. It's highly advisable for you to have a pencil with you and an eraser. You write with a pencil because when you write with a pencil, it's easier. I mean, you can just write and erase anything that proves to be incorrect or written incorrectly. Use your pencil first. Make sure that it's you write it correctly, and then you can write on the text that you wrote with your pencil. Finally, you erase the pencil traces. So that's, I mean, my favorite way of doing an exam. I mean, to use your pencil. Use a pencil. In my opinion, it's much better than the draft because when you, I mean, go back and forth to your draft, sometimes it's confusing, okay, and time consuming. You'd better use a pencil, okay, with an eraser. Make sure that the eraser is good. Is it possible to say, I chocolate ate? It's not. I chocolate ate. This is not possible. Why not? Because it's not possible to place the complement in a position that precedes the verb. That is to say, it cannot adjoin V bar. This is the difference between adjuncts and complements. Complements can be adjoined to V bar, and they can adjoin I bar, and you can put them in the canonical position. For example, I can say, I saw them last night. And you can also say, I last night saw them. And you can also say, last night I saw them. Which means that last night, which is an adjunct, can be placed in its canonical position. It can join V bar, and it can join I bar as well. The only possible movement for complements is for them to join I bar. Okay, and when they join I bar, it's for a reason, which is to create what we called in class. Uh, I mean, it's like clifton. Okay, when you say chocolate, I like. That is to say, it's chocolate that I like. It's like clifton. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Is this also applicable to objects pronouns like them, me, her?
No, it is not. The reason is that, I mean, pronouns. Okay, let me explain. When you clift something, then it must be referential. When we say referential, we mean that it should refer to something. If you say, for example, if I say, it's the window that I broke, it's the window that I broke. The window, I'm talking about one and only one window, and I can point out to it using my finger, right? So we say that the window is referential. Only referential noun phrases can be clifted. So I can say, it's the window that I broke, but I cannot say, it's it that I broke. And I cannot say, it I broke. That's not possible. Which means that, I mean, pronouns cannot be clifted because they are referentially weak. We cannot refer to them because they are general. They can refer to different things. You cannot use your finger to point out to a certain it, but you can use your finger to refer to a certain window. Did this answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
You are welcome. So, so the second question is typically about identification, identifying complements, identifying VPs, identifying IPs, and so on and so forth. That's the second section. So notice that the first section, or the first question, is typically about constituency, and the second one is about identifying sentence structure. What's something? Where is something? Identifying the place of something. Where is it? What's the specifier? What is the specifier in this phrase? What's the adjunct, etc. The third section is about the shaded element. So look at the this is the shaded clause. It's a clause. His time in the desert had endowed him with a certain ruggedness. Okay, that's a clause, and it's shaded. I put it between parentheses just to highlight it, to make it clear, visible for you. And the question here is, consider the shaded clause. Give a syntactic description of the subject in P in this phrase. When we say a syntactic description, remember, we mean what is the head, what are the adjuncts, what are the complements, if any. And for the adjuncts, you have to identify if they are left adjuncts or right adjuncts. So a syntactic description of a phrase means what is the head of it, what's the complement, what's the specifier, and if there are adjuncts, what type of adjuncts are they, left or right? So that's what we call, I mean, describing a phrase, a syntactic description. Here, for example, in this, let me see what his time in the desert, that's the subject. His time in the desert. The head is time. It does have a specifier, which is a prenominal genitive. It doesn't have any complement, but it has an adjunct, which is in the desert, which is a PP. That's a syntactic description. A syntactic description means you take the phrase and you break it down into its syntactic components. Remember, the syntactic components in any phrase are adjuncts, complement, and specifiers. Then, so here, give a syntactic description of the subject in P in the phrase. You have a space. So don't ask the assistant in your classroom Where should I? Where am I supposed to answer? You are supposed to answer here in this place. So I'm not giving you. I will be giving you only this exam sheet and a draft. That's all. And your answer should be placed here. In the
Yes, sir.
second,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Are we supposed to answer this question in bullet points or a very short, I mean, paragraph?
You should answer succinctly. By succinctly, I mean clearly and precisely, clearly enough for the corrector, which is me, to understand, and precise enough not to be redundant, not to repeat yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
Sir, I have a question, please.
Sure.
If the adverb phrase is, preceded by an intensifier, like extremely and very, how shall we deal with it? As one constituent, or we should consider it as a specifier?
Intensifiers are adverbs, so they are adjuncts. It's an adjunct in an adjunct, so they should be adjoined to adverb. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Please mute your mic because there's echo. Then once you describe the phrase you are asked to describe, yeah, you will be asked to draw a tree diagram using the X-bar format. Use the X-bar format to draw a detailed tree diagram for the IP in this clause. Which clause? The one that you are given here. So look at this. Your starting point is the IP. The root is the IP. The highest point in the clause is the IP. Please use the upper part of the reverse side of this paper to draw the tree diagram. If you go to the next page, you see you have a big space. Here it is. This is the space. You have a big space for it. You see? So use it to draw a tree diagram for the IP. Please make sure that you are drawing a tree diagram for the given phrase, not to any phrase you like, not to the subject NP, IP of the clause. So make sure to read the question well to know what is exactly expected of you. My advice, please use your pencil. Don't forget, pencil, eraser, pencil, eraser. Use your pencil first, and then you use your pen. Use the pencil first, and then the pen. Don't leave it just in pencil. No, because I mean, if the questions are given in pencil, they don't count because they are changeable. Use the pencil first, you make corrections, and then you erase whatever you had to draw using the pencil, and then you do it using your pen. In the fourth section, typically you will have a theoretical question. And in the theoretical question, you write a paragraph to explain. See? The question that you are given here is, what is a specifier? Your answer should be clear, succinct. The specifier is, and the characteristics of the specifier are. Some tips. When you answer a theoretical question, you should give examples. Examples are very important. Through examples, you show that you understand what you are talking about, and your answer is appreciated. But if you don't give examples, the corrector does not see that you understand what you are talking about, and your answer is not appreciated. Tip number 2, be straightforward. Don't say, for example, in this paragraph, I'm going to answer the question, what is a specifier? Of course, you're going to answer the question, what is the specifier? Because that's the question given to you. So don't play the smart. Just go ahead and answer the question directly. A specifier is full stop. The characteristics of a specifier are, for example, and then you illustrate the first characteristic, secondly, etc. You see, that's it. You are not giving any conclusion, you are not giving any introduction. You are simply answering the question as it stands. So let me summarize what I said.
Sir, can I ask you something?
Sure.
If we have a spaced compound noun, how do we deal with it?
If you have what?
A spaced compound noun.
What do you mean by
Compound noun,
spaced?
a compound noun with space in between. Like morning sun.
Yeah. I mean a compound noun. That's a compound noun.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a compound noun, so it's a noun. It's a head. Okay. Sleepwalk is a compound noun, so it's a verb. It's V. Blackbird is a compound noun. Regardless of whether we have the dash or not, it's a compound noun. So it's a noun. It's under N.
So we take it as a whole under the N.
Yeah, because it's a compound noun. It's a noun.
Okay.
You see what I
Okay,
mean?
sir.
It's a noun.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, please.
I'd like to ask you something regarding the third question
Yes.
about the subject NP.
Yes.
If we were to have a sentence that has the verb movement, I'm guessing that the subject NP would be the VP of that sentence, right?
Yeah, but it's the subject.
Yes, but because we have a verb movement, the subject will become the specifier of the VP.
Yeah, but
So
the
when-
question, okay.
yeah.
The question is, I think your question is about 2, not 3. Identify the subject NP. The subject NP is the subject. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are not asked about the where it is located. What you are thinking about is its location. It's in the specifier of VP, and the movement of the verb means that the VP is empty of everything except the specifier, which is the subject. But I mean, if the question is what is the subject in P, then it's the subject. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I mean, all in all, please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to write your name, family name and personal name first at the very beginning, and the exam number, no apogee number. This is obligatory. Remember, if you forget your exam number, I will have to put absent because I don't know you. Please make sure to read the text well before you start, because it will give you an idea about the clauses. I look at the sentences that are shaded, bracketed, and underlined, because the questions will be about them. The first section, for you to do the first section well, you will have to revise the first part of the lecture series, those lectures that are about constituency. The second section is typically about the structure of each phrase. You will have to revise those lectures that are about complements and adjuncts and specifiers. The third section is about, identifying the structure of a phrase or structure. The X-bar format is very important in this respect. The last one is theoretical. This one tests your knowledgeability of the concepts that we have been learning. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my exam model.
Professor?
I will be receiving 3 to 4 questions from you guys. Yes, please.
The shaded sentence.
What?
In the shaded sentence.
Yes.
His time in the desert. In the desert is not a complement of time?
What time is it?
In the sentence, the first sentence in the
What time
text.
is it?
What?
What time is it now?
I don't know. It's
Okay. I
It's
know.
36.
I know, but that's not my point. My point is time in this sentence. What time is it? Doesn't take any complement, which means that that's not a compliment. That's an adjunct. Time is money, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Did you get my point? Did you get my point?
No, sir.
My point is that that's an adjunct because it's deletable, and I'm giving you examples like what time is it, and time is money, in which time is not taking any complement, because if it were a complement, the complement would be necessary. The verb put takes two complements. One of them is an NP, and the other one is either a PP or an adverbial phrase. So you say, I put the book on the table. You cannot say I put, and you cannot say I put the book. You have to use an NP followed by an adverbial phrase or a PP. I put it down. Down is an adverbial complement. So one of the characteristics of the complements is that they are necessary, obligatory. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
For the gallery and the assignment we have done, how would it be taken for with this exam?
I will be adding 1 extra points to 2 extra points to each one who is delivering a good work. That's how it will work. I have them now in front of me. Hopefully you have all put your names. So I'm giving you between 1 and 2 grades, extra grades for each one. Any answers? Any questions? Sorry, the answers are mine.
Sir, I have a
Sir,
question,
I have a
please.
question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for the inverted sentence,
For what?
for the inverted sentences in the X bar theory.
Yes.
I'm still not getting the point that that the subject which is in the place of the VP, when, for example, we say on the health stood a solitary tree, it is normally an NP and we put it as VP. So I'm not sure how to do it in the tree diagram. For example, a solitary tree is an NP, but should I put at the maximal projection VP? Just like that.
I don't see your question.
I said that, for example, when you have the inverted sentence on the hill stood a solitary tree, right?
Yes.
A solitary tree, normally it is an NP, yeah?
It is.
It is, yeah. And we agreed that it should be a VP.
It should be a VP? No, we didn't agree that it should be a VP. Who said that?
So what it is what is the maximal projection of it?
You mean what is the position of it?
Yeah, because I know that the position of the subject is inverted. Normally it should be initial and we have it at the end because it is an inverted sentence. And the PP, it is at the beginning, at the initial position, and it is a joint to I bar.
Why are you saying this? Because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The question is, where is it? Where is it located?
It is located at the V bar position.
No, it's not there. So you did not. Were you there?
The VP position. I'm sorry.
My question. Were you there yesterday?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so I will ask because I would like to make sure that the other students get to the point too. Where is the when we have those inverted clauses? Where is
In
the
the specifier.
Specifier
of
of
the
the
VP.
VP.
Okay, they're shouting at you. That's just, it's in the specifier of VP.
All right.
Okay.
So I know it is I know the position, but what I don't know is where should I put the VP, the maximal projection of VP? This is my question.
No. Don't ask any question. Just listen to me. You said, I know that. I know that. You have just said it. Okay. Repeat it. Repeat what you know.
I know that, for example, a solitary tree is an
Don't
NP.
give me any example. Tell me what you know.
For what? For the inverted sentences?
No, we said for the inverted sentence, for inverted sentences,
We have the movement of the verb. The verb moves.
So no, we are not talking about the same thing. Let me repeat it, and then I will ask you the same question. But you will have to listen attentively this time, please. Okay.
Okay.
In inverted sentences, the verb moves. We know that, but we said something crucial, which is that the subject is placed in the specifier of VP. Okay. Yes, that's it. I'm done. Well, are you learning anything new from what I'm saying right now?
Yeah, this is something I know.
Okay. So you know it. Okay, now.
So what I'm asking, excuse me, sir.
I don't want to listen to what you are asking. I want to help you by asking you this question. You said this is something I know. What do you know?
I know that the subject, it is in the specifier, the position of the VP specifier, the specifier of the VP.
Could you please say your sentence again in a clearer way?
On the hill stood a solitary tree.
No. I'm asking, could you please repeat what you know, as you have just said?
I know that that the PP is joined to I bar, and that the subject it is at the position. What?
No.
I'm talking about the whole sentence.
I don't want you to talk about the whole sentence. I want you to talk about this part of it, answering
the
question, where is the subject?
The subject is in the specifier, the position of the specifier of the VP.
That's it. Okay. Could you please repeat this again?
The subject is in the position of the specifier of the VP.
Okay, so it's not the VP.
No.
Okay, because you were saying that you said we agreed that the subject is the VP. We didn't agree on this. What we agreed on, what we know from facts, is that the subject is in the specifier of VP. It's not the VP, right?
Okay, I see now.
Okay, good. Now envision the subject in the specifier of VP. Are you envisioning the subject in the specifier of VP? Are you?
Yeah, I am now.
Okay, very good. Now, imagine that the verb moves to I across the subject. It jumps over the subject and it goes to I, right? Okay. Which would be first in order then? Is it the verb or the subject?
It is the verb. The subject first.
Are you sure?
No, the verb first.
Why?
I should write it to see.
Okay.
Could you please repeat what you said?
What am I? I said a lot of things. What am I supposed to repeat exactly?
The last thing.
I repeated a lot of things. That was the last thing I said. What am I supposed to repeat exactly?
Here's the sentence, I think.
Yes, sir. What am I supposed to repeat?
I said what you said now. You said imagine or what?
I said, okay. Now, where is the subject? Where is it located?
Now it is we agreed that it is at the position of the specifier of the VP.
Okay. And then when the verb moves, it moves across the subject to I, right?
Yeah, to I.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is this what we studied?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would be the visible order then?
It would be an adjunct VS.
I am talking about two things: the subject and the verb. What's the
The verb
order?
first.
So
The verb first, then the subject.
okay, good. So VS, right?
Yeah.
So that's the inverted clause, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So now we know how we get the inverted clause by moving the verb from its position to I, right?
To the I position. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we get these structures, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Suppose, for example, that the verb is intransitive. It doesn't have any object.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we move the verb from its canonical position to I, what do we leave in the VP? What is left in the VP?
Uh, Nothing, because it is intransitive,
No,
right?
no, that's incorrect. It's not nothing.
We leave only the specifier.
Which is
The subject.
the subject. So the only thing which is left in the VP is the subject, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yesterday, when I was asking you what is the VP, and you were saying the subject, it's because the only thing which is left in the VP is the subject.
The subject.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, the subject is not the VP. It's in the specifier of the VP, but
The
it's
VP.
the only thing that we are leaving in the subject. The VP. The VP is empty of anything except the subject. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now, I mean, the verb is in I, which means it's outside the VP. What we are leaving there, what we are leaving in the VP is one and only one thing, which is the subject and the specifier of VP. Does this make sense?
Okay. Yes. Yes. And now I'm seeing it.
Okay, that's why I mean the word order is verb subject. The verb is in I, the subject in the specifier of VP.
Sir,
Yeah.
Yes, miss.
can we then say that the subject takes the form of the VP?
What is it?
Can we say that the subject takes the form of the VP?
No, you cannot say that. You can say that, but it's
After we...
incorrect.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the subject is in the specifier of the VP. It's not the VP. Okay. But the only thing which is left in the VP is the subject. Okay.
Sir, I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
Is it exclusively in an inverted clause that we branch the verb with the auxiliary?
Okay, I need to understand your question. What do you mean by we branch the verb with the auxiliary?
We put it under the I with the verb. We put the auxiliary and the verb under the I.
Okay. Listen to me. That's a good question. Okay. How can I answer this question without confusing you? Okay. When you read Shakespeare, okay, Shakespeare, when he asks questions in two different ways. Okay, let me give you one example. Okay. Do you like this painting? 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 So think about this question. What do we have in I?
Maybe do you like?
What do you mean? We take the sentence and we put it in I?
Basically, I don't know.
Okay. What do we put in I?
The verb.
Do?
What do we typically put in I?
The auxiliary. The auxiliary.
Okay, good. The auxiliary. And when you ask the question, do you like this painting? What is the auxiliary?
Do.
Do. Do.
Do. Yes, do. So what are we putting in I in this sentence, in this question?
Do like.
What do we put in I here in this sentence?
Do.
Do.
Yes, do. Do. So do is in the auxiliary, is in I, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah. And like, is it in I?
No.
No, it is the verb. It is the head of V bar.
Okay. Okay, very good. Which means that in this case, we didn't move it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Professor,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
We still have 5 minutes left. Should I
I-
create a new link?
Let's hope I can finish in 5 minutes. Otherwise, I will have to go to the next one.
Okay.
Okay. So do is in I, which means that the verb does not move to I, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, that's the first mode of asking questions. Take the second one. Like you, this painting. Like you, this painting. Where is like?
Here is in the I
The
position.
initial position.
Aha, very good. So, which means that in Shakespearean times, the English language allowed for two possibilities. You either put do in I, and the verb does not move, or you don't put any do in the I, and the verb moves. So, Shakespearean English allows for two possibilities: verb movement and auxiliary insertion. You either insert an auxiliary or you move the verb, right? So two possibilities, right? Modern English, on the other hand, does not allow this. It allows only inserting the auxiliary in the case of questions. So the verb in English typically does not move to I. It does not move to I. It moves to I only in the case of inversion, in the case of inverted clauses. Does this answer your question?
Yes. I have another question, please. In
Yeah.
the case of auxiliary insertion, we are left with you, with the subject you. Where should it be positioned?
In the specifier of VP.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Professor, please, may I ask a question
Yes, please.
about the previous homework that you gave last session?
Yes.
You have some of its apartment. What is the type of this phrase?
What is it?
The type of this phrase, some of its apartments.
It's a noun phrase, the head of which is some, having a complement, which is a PP, headed by of.
So it's not an inverse phrase, no? It's a normal phrase.
That's an NP. That's not a clause. When you say
The whole sentence, some of its apartment, which have for many years been built up, one within the other, 4 chambers of medieval ancientness and
what's the verb? What's the verb?
afford.
Yeah, and what's the subject?
Some of its
some of its apartment, which
So do you have SV or VS?
SV.
SV.
So is that an inverted clause then?
No.
And so why are you asking me then?
Because we have in the question identify the IP.
Yes. What does it have to do with this clause being inverted? What's the IP there?
The subject. Some of its
The whole
apartment.
sentence.
The whole sentence is the IP, including the subject, because the subject is in the specifier of IP.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor.
Yes.
Sir, I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
Can a PP have a specifier?
Yes, it can.
Then what is the possible specifier of it?
Subject, like for example in this one, okay? I saw the man in a blue jacket. I saw. What did you see? The man in a blue jacket.
Yes, in the sentence that on the hill stood a solitary tree,
Yes.
the BP here it does not have any specifier.
Could you say the PP again?
On the solitary tree,
It doesn't have any specifier.
yes, and the specifier of the info bar is the BP.